Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Boys News. It is the 31st of December of the year 2024. Today we end our year. Sadly giving a bad news, right? But we have the hope that this it is going to completely change in the next incoming months. It is going to completely change, and it is going to completely change. This is one of the things that it must change. It must completely change for for the good of the people, for the good of the nations, for to saving more people, saving more migrants from being extortion, kidnapped, killed, and from border agents to losing their lives. I broke the news this yesterday in the platform of X, and also it was shared by our border the border czar and the great Tom Homan, and in his platform. This actually happened, and I would like to put on screen this statement that it was given out by a page that is called the. It is called. Let me just put it on screen. This is the border report, and it has a little bit of information that is missing. But let me just read it for you guys. It's El Paso, Texas border report: two Venezuelan men allegedly attacked. They're not allegedly. No, they attacked the man. It's not allegedly. They attacked the man. It has already been put out and the informed and the information's report in the platform of the government of the Institute of National Immigration. So don't start with allegedly. It happened. And killed an immigration agent on Monday on the border state of Chihuahua, on the Mexican National Immigration Institute said. The Institute of National Immigration said the agent was attacked about 12:30 at a checkpoint in Samalayuca, which is about 25 miles of Ciudad Juarez. Officials said then an agent asked the migrants for identification before being attacked. The agency did not provide details about the attack. Of course, they're not going to provide details for the security of the family members. According to the Chihuahua State Police, emergency crews found agent dead with an injury on the head and other signs of violence. International Immigration said local, state, federal authorities arrested three men in connection with the attack about the hours later. And that is the actual report. So these are two of the men that they were arrested. Great individuals, huh? Great individuals. Three little angels, right? They just took away the life of an agent. The actual report, let me just put it on screen for everybody to understand what is the actual report. And the actual report was given out by the Institute National Immigration of Mexico. It says, the Institute National Immigration of Mexico, they condemned the aggression to an Institute National Immigration officer. We condemn the assassination of the federal agent that it was appointed to the region of the state of Chihuahua as the events occurred at 12:30 in the evening of this Monday. On the events, the International Immigration Institution explained that the public server was was aggravated by a group of external and foreign individuals who they got stopped to solicitate their documents of identification in the controlled inspection point of Precos Samalayuca, that is in a really difficult terrain. At 15:50 hours, that is 3:30 in the evening, through a coordinated operation of the authorities of the federal authorities and state and municipal authorities, the agents and the ministerial police, they detain three individuals. Carlos, of nationality of Colombia, Ismael, of nationality of Venezuela, and another Carlos, of the nationality of Venezuela. The three of them are responsible for the assassination of the border agent of Mexico. Now, I said it before and I said it again. This is a consequence of open border policies. This is a consequence of basically having an open border, being part of a global compact on migration that it hasn't worked. On this New Year's Eve, I will say a few things about that. But this is a consequence of a lot of things. And sadly, now this agent has not returned home to his family, to his wife, to his kids. And, this agent is now suffering, their family suffering the consequences of three illegal aliens that they were in the country of Mexico trying to get to the United States of America. So, just for everybody to know, God rest his soul to the agent Luis Alberto Olivas Garcia. Luis Alberto Olivas Garcia, it was the agent that got brutally attacked and assassinated by these three animals. Now, let me just go by the factual evidence. This is a consequence of open border policies. This is a consequence of the Biden administration implementing these open border policies around the whole continent. This is a consequence of a global compact on migration and all these international organizations defending these kind of criminals to continue to transit into our country with unfiltered. There's a lot of good people migrating. Yes, we know that, but there's a lot of bad people, and we're seeing that right now. They just took away the life of a border agent of Mexico. There's no justification for assassination and murder. There is none. So, now we understand. Imagine what this agent just did. This agent of Mexico deserves to be honored as he died on his duty of protecting his sovereign nation and protecting his land and protecting Mexico. And God knows what these people were going to do as soon as they stepped into the United States borders. I'm just saying, God knows what these people were going to do, because these people were directing themselves to cross into the United States of America illegally, like every single individual that crosses through this particular point. And nobody knows, God knows what kind of crimes that we're going to commit in the United States. As we have seen these kind of individuals that they have crossed into the United States under the Biden administration and these open border policies, and they have committed horrible crimes like Lake and Riley and other so horrible crimes that they have been committed. And this agent just died, brutally attacked by two Venezuelans and one Colombian, took away his life, and these people were directing themselves into the United States. So this agent not only saved people from being more brutally aggressive, this agent died as a hero, saving and risking his life of more people dying and being aggressively attacked in Mexico. But more than that, from these people entering into the United States of America and being more aggressive and trying possibly to take away a life in the United States of America. It is the reality of what we're living. And the ACLU, it is preparing to put lawsuits against the mass deportation on the Trump administration. They're preparing. I did a live with Grant Stinchfield yesterday, and this was a reality. The ACLU, because I did a video explaining what the NGOs are going to do now. And the NGOs, what they are going to do now is, because they are not going to receive federal grants anymore, they're not going to have this criminal border like it has been happening for the past 4 years. Because they're not going to have all of this situation and circumstance of open border policies. And because they are not going to basically, continue with these federal grants that they have been giving and continue with all of this, they know absolutely that they need to suck on the teeth of this human misery. And they need to suck on the teeth of this human misery on what? They need to suck on the teeth of the human misery of migrants. Still, because they do not have, now they're not going to have nothing to live out of, what are they going to do? To put lawsuits, class action lawsuits. And class action lawsuits against what? Against the Trump administration, because of violation of human rights, because of the psychological damage of migrants, because of everything that the migrants have gone through. This is a disgusting, NGOs that they're doing this. living still out of human misery, trying to make a buck still out of human misery, trying to make a buck of still of these mass deportations that a lot of these individuals cross illegally into the United States, claiming asylum and refugee when they are economical migrants and they don't qualify for asylum and refugee. Look what kind of individuals they were going across through El Paso. How many of these individuals are already in this inside of the United States of America committing crimes still? How many of them have committed crimes alongside Central and South America? All of these people, they have crossed the Darien Gap. We have encountered these people, and on their journey through the Darien Gap, they're pandering, they're violating our human right. We just want to go. We just want to go to our destination. Just leave us alone. So, by leaving you alone, it means that you need to take away a border agent's life. By leaving you alone, it means that you need to take away the border agent's life, assassinate a border agent. Is that the way that this needs to happen? Isn't it unbelievable? And to what point are we allocated on this 31st of January of the year 2024? That God, thank you so much for ending the Biden administration and the Kamala Harris administration. Thank you so much, Lord. Thank you so much. Because this would have continued in a massive, massive wave. And it would have continued in a horrible situations where everybody was going to be, you know, seeing this kind of circumstances happen on a day-to-day basis. It is not a lie. You're seeing it right now. You are actually seeing it. And you have now NGOs that they're preparing to put class action lawsuits against the Trump administration for mass deportation. This is why I've said Tom Homan and the new administration needs to put a task force of individuals, citizen journalists, serious citizen journalists, ethical and responsible journalists, and agents that they can document all of the mass deportations. So every lawsuit that the ACLU and all these progressive liberal groups, they are trying to put, it will be well documented that there is no violation of human right. And the number one thing that the Trump administration needs to do is get out of the global compact on migration immediately. So these NGOs and these international organizations will not have power over the immigration law of the United States of America, because the United States right now, it is under international law. They need to get out immediately. Immediately, they need to get out. The first thing they need to do is send a letter to Antonio Guterres. We're out. We're not participating anymore. You don't have no power over our country and our borders. It's done. And we're going to stop the funding to OIM. It is too much. You're taking advantage too much. And it's having a collateral damage consequence. What is the collateral damage consequence? This. A border agent of Mexico just got assassinated by 3 individuals that they asked them to stop. And they told them, give us your identification and show us your ID. But they were not showing the ID. There were none to show the ID. Why they were not trying to show the ID? What do you think? Because they were bad people. Because these people were not good individuals that they were trying to apply through CBP1. No. These people were not coming. These 3 individuals were not gonna go to the United States to apply for a job, to try to grow and send money to their families and work hard. These 3 animals were going to the United States to do exactly what they did in Mexico, to commit crimes and to ultimately take advantage of the United States of America. These 3. I'm not generalizing. Everybody should be put in the same bucket. No. I'm talking about these 3, that they're not migrants. They're criminals. They're horrible individuals. That they should be punished under every extent of the law. Detained and stopped. And now it is the pandering of the ACLU. This is more than evidence for everybody to start documenting what is going to happen. This is clear as evidence. Clear as evidence for the ACLU to shut their pie hole. Really. If there's going to be mass deportations, there's going to be mass deportations of people that they committed, they committed an illegal act that is to cross illicitly into another country. The hell, man. That is not a crime anymore, because you are part of the global compact on migration. As soon as you're out, what kind of power you're going to have, ACLU? You're not going to have no power anymore. The only power that you're going to have is just put class action lawsuits and be bothering the federal government to just be spending money on you. That's what you want because you're not going to have federal grants anymore. You want to suck the teeth. You cannot live out of the business. This is exactly what they have done in other countries. Exactly, they have done the exact the same. Look what they did in El Salvador. Nayib Bukele said, I don't need you, OIM. I don't need you, UNHCR. I don't need you, United Nations. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to give the power back to law and order. I'm going to get the power back to law enforcement. We're going to incarcerate every single MS gang member that is infiltrated in our country, make the biggest prison of narco terrorism, incarcerate every single one of them, and then that's it. And the first thing that they started doing, what they started doing, because there was no crisis, these NGOs, they started putting class action lawsuits against the government. Oh, you're being unfair to the prisoners. You're not letting them not even see the light. Hey, let's suck on the teeth on that because we don't have any federal grants anymore. We cannot live out of the crisis. So let's live out of the people now. It is exactly what they're going to do now. Exactly the same. Now, these individuals, these NGOs, these ACLUs, now they're going to try to live and suck out of the teeth out of the migrants because they do not have no federal grants. So now they're looking for clients and see who's suffering and see who's psychologically damaged and see who feels afraid of the massive deportation, persecution, and this, romanticizing the migration. Meanwhile, agents are dying. Meanwhile, agents are being assassinated in Mexico. This is a border agent assassinated in Mexico. How much of an opportunity had a customs border agent to live if he was brutally attacked by these three? How much of a difference would it have been? You know, I suggest to you guys go to my brother's page, Ben Berquam. Right now, he was a couple of days ago, he was, I think yesterday, he was right here in San Isidro. In San Isidro Port of Entry, next to Tijuana. As we, lastly, we documented the Port of Entry of Tijuana, one of the biggest ones in the CBP-1 entrance into the United States of America. And I will answer your question. Donna Brown says, why can you stop them at your border, sir? Because the Mexico is part of the global compact on migration, and you're asking for it. The current administration, the Biden administration, it is asking for this. You're the one that is your government is the one that is incentivizing this to continue, not nobody else. When it was Trump, nobody was coming as massively as it is right now. So back to the topic. So Ben was on the other side, right? And he started seeing all these CBP-1 app massive arrival on the San Isidro Port of Entry. And he saw a lot of NGOs, and he was recording the buses as they were picking them up, and they were basically taking them to distribute them in the United States. And he was approached by a United States Customs officer. And the United States, this is the most embarrassing thing. The United States Customs officer was telling Ben, you cannot record here. And it's like, no, I'm outside of the federal establishment, of the federal ground. I can record. This is a public area. No, you can't. And then he went to a kind of like a banner, that they have the rules of the federal, the federal grounds. And he started reading like, no, the customs were telling Ben, no, you cannot be here. So Ben went over there and he started reading the whole thing. And he called him out and he said, you know what? Hey, come here, man. I want to talk to you, to the border agent. Sir, come here. It says that I can. The only place that I cannot record is inside the premises. I'm outside the premises. So why are you telling me not to record? You know why this happened? This is why I say we need to give the power back to law enforcement, the Border Patrol in the United States Customs, and also in Mexico. We need to give the power back to the international immigration. You know why this happened? Because the United States Customs and the border agents are so afraid of the NGOs. The NGOs has gained so much power of their stupidity, fake humanitarian lawsuits, that they will say to the United States Customs, if you let somebody record, I'm going to come after you because they're violating humanitarian international law. If you do something against me, I will put a lawsuit on you because you're violating humanitarian law. If you stop me from operating and picking migrants up, I will, and if you need to protect me because of what I'm doing, because it's international, the global compact on migration. They become the United States Customs so afraid of the NGOs. The NGOs had gained so much power. This is why the number one thing is cut the federal grants to Mike Johnson, this Republican House Speaker. Cut the federal grants of the NGOs. You're the one that has been giving out billions of dollars to these NGOs. Cut the federal grants. Stop these federal grants going to these NGOs, and immediately investigate these NGOs, audit these NGOs, and the ones that they're found guilty, prosecute under the federal law, and prosecute all of them. If they are all found guilty that they're in cahoots with the cartel and they're profiting out of this human misery, what the hell are you waiting for? It's unbelievable how they are preparing for this. Meanwhile, agents are dying. Crazy. Agents are dying in the middle of the middle parts before they arrive to Mexican territory. Another border, a border agent was assassinated by 3 migrants, one of them from Colombia, 2 of them from Venezuela. This is sad news. This is national news. Why? Because our president is still not doing anything to stop the flow in the South. And not only that, it is, the horrible thing about this is that nothing is being done. The border is still open. Caravans is still being made. Until Trump doesn't come into office, he puts order on this, man. He's going to put a threat of a tariff into Mexico. You don't do it, I will tariff you. And that's it. You need to control the flow. And the mass deportations, I don't know how you're going to do it. You are complicit about it. Mexico's complicit. Yes, absolutely. But the number one complicit is the Biden administration, these oligarchs, all of these, progressive, liberal, Marxist Democrats that they are in Congress and the Senate, that they wanted open borders and they were making a buck out of this, man. This is millions of billions of dollars. I'm not even lying about this. This is billions of dollars. Billions of dollars that are being made. So, sad to say, horrible. Another, a horrible event that happened towards this insecurity of these individuals, that they are transiting through every border without inspection and without a filter. This is the number one thing that needs to happen. There's no filter. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. I would like to thank this year to all of my audience that has been with me since the start. There's a couple of people that passed away that they were really close to us during this year. And one of them was an angel in my life. And I will not say their names for security reasons. Say their names for security reasons as meaning, protecting the family. But one of them, we used to have long conversations. And she passed away just some weeks ago. And she was a beautiful human being and a hardcore supporter of us when we started. And it has been, personally, I haven't talked about this because I don't like to talk about it. I continue to work because if I don't continue to work, I will be mentally depressed of all the things that we have seen and all the things that we have done. We have covered the border like nobody else. And everything is mentally draining. And the other person, it was really kind to me, close to me. She was an angel in my life, supporting me in every cause and every moment. And I haven't opened up to talk about it because it hurts. It's just so close. And this last life, it is dedicated to the two of them. That they gave everything in this life they're beautiful human beings, beautiful spirit, and really close to us. Always supported us through ups and downs, through discussions, through non-agreements. It's they always supported us, and there's always the two sides of the story for everything. It's unfortunate, really, but in the past years we have lost, really close people to us, and we had gained a friendship, and through all the friendships, it's support, basically support, and it's when you start seeing them little by little, one and another one going, it's mentally depressing. It is really is. You really feel in the heart that something's not there anymore. But we continue to work. I continue to be, I need to continue to work. I live in Mexico. I don't live in the United States where I can go and comfort myself. I need to continue to work and take care of myself because over here is not a secure place to, to do the line of work that I do. It is not as a lot of people think. A lot of people think that I just get out there and put a camera in. The things that I speak, the things that I say, we really need to be really precautious of what we're saying because I cannot just be coming over here, dropping some bombs and then going back to the United States and living comfortably. I can't do that. I live over here. And it has been extremely difficult for me to do that. After I was attacked by a progressive mercenary activist writer who wanted to get me killed, a network from the United States, a progressive network. Then later on, more progressive liberals. Then, Hispanic. This is the most sad thing about it. Hispanic networks trying to denigrate my persona, talking about my past. I talked about my past so many times, but they're trying to talk about my past and bring my past to light. So they would denigrate my persona. It's so sad that these Hispanic, liberal networks that they so bluntly support people with second opportunities. But they, if it is a Democrat, they will support it. But if it is lean to a Republican side, no, he's the enemy. It has been a difficult year. 2023, I traveled so many places in the world. I covered 2 wars in 2023. In 2024, this time, we went for the 4th time through the Darien Gap, Ben Berquam and myself, which I want to say thank you to him, to my brother Ben. He has been undeniably a rock in my life. He's my brother, and I love him. Really, I do. And we traveled through the Darien Gap for the 4th time on 2024. We went up to the Mountain of Death, that it was one of the most dangerous mountains, 2,200 feet in the air with a massive, dangerous mudslides and a decline. You will fall, you will die. And, we went again with the heroic agents of Centerfront. That is, for me, the best border agency in the world, the Agents of Panama. For the 4th time, nobody has ever done it. Nobody. No journalist, no other network, no blogger, whatever you want to call it, has ever done it. And we have done it like nobody else, putting the institution in the highest point of the Panamanian authorities and also documenting the mass migration and the suffering of people. And it was just incredible to do that for the 4th time. Then, we documented our 12th caravan. Been documenting caravans since 2018. And, it hasn't been easy. And this was my 12th one. Going to Tapachula has been a second city for me. I always go over there and I know every journalist. So I want to thank every journalist from Tapachula this year and every journalist from Chiapas, that they are, extremely well educated people and well prepared people. There's a lot of extremely talented journalists over there, high qualified journalists and high profile journalists over there. uh, another caravan, documenting caravans. This phenomenon that we have been in confrontations with the National Guard and the migrants, and in the middle of all of this, it's like in the Darien Gap, we were in a confrontation between the heroic agents of Centerfront with the cartel of Clan del Golfo in a gunfight. Bullets flying on top of our heads, and we were there just giving the reality and truth like nobody else. Then we went back to Panama. I went back to Panama to document with Operation Burning Edge with Michael Young and Vandersteel, the Epoch Times, Laura Loomer. I was the person that was in charge of guiding all of these journalists, and out of this trip, the Epoch Times came out with a great documentary that is the weapons of mass migration, that you can still see it out of the Darien Gap, which we had great interviews like the former director of Centerfront, of Mr. Roriel Ortega, that is a friend of mine. It was an incredible documentary. Miss Laura Loomer did an incredible job also documenting everything that it was there. Uh, Also, like always, it's an honor to work with Michael. With Michael Young, he knows the area really well. So it's always an honor to talk to him and to discuss the particulars of inside and outside of the Darien in Panama, and also Miss Ann Vandersteel, who is a phenomenal lady, and it's always an honor to be with her. But more than that is the people that you surround yourself. And want to give thank you to Matthew Tomlett. That is my one of my best friends. He's my brother. I love that man. Matthew Tomlett. He lives in Panama. He's Zonian, as you call them. People that they were born in the United States, but they were raised in Panama. And he's an incredible human being. Christian, believes hardly, in Christianity. Surfer, drives like a grandma, but he's an incredible human being. I love him. His family, everything. So, yes, my best friends are white, and I don't care about that. uh, and then later on that year, I got invited again to go and cover a war. And we did on this year, 2024, we went to cover the war in Israel again. I got invited by my mentor, a man that I love also, that his name is Chuck Colton. I admire this man. He's an incredible man for me. More than his work and his journalism, I just like to be around him. Love to be around him. He's pushing on 50 plus years of age, and the man still goes to the gym. We were going to the gym this last visit that he took me to Israel. We were in Jerusalem, and we were planning to stay like 12 or 15 days over there. And every day he says, "I know that you're fit, Oscar, but we need to go to the gym still." And I said, "I love it. Let's go." The man is just an animal still. He does pull-ups, push-ups, runs, cardio like a beast. He's a former Ranger. It's still in his blood. Learned so much from him. We went to Israel. Again, he taught me a lot of the things of the war and the meanings of the war. And all of these things, and we went to the limitations between uh, the Northern Galilee and Lebanon. He took me over there. He said, "Oscar, we're going to the contact zone, so be prepared." We went to a bunker with the IDF. We were embedded for a little bit with the IDF. Um, we saw the Merkava tanks just as close as we can and active. We were really close to the Gaza, uh, the Gaza line. Um, we did a lot of things. We broadcast from really difficult places and really difficult positions where we were at distance of snipers, and we did that. We absolutely did that. Then we crossed to Jordan. He took me to Jordan. I visited one of the most beautiful wonders of the world, that is the Petra. We documented Petra, how this war has affected them economically and financially, to all the vendors and the merchants. Um, he took me to the Dead Sea. I experienced the Dead Sea for my first time. being possibly the first Mexican that has ever float in the Dead Sea. But the most amazing thing that he took me to the Garden of Gethsemane. That is where I had a really deep and spiritual connection with the Holy Spirit inside of that church, where the Garden of Gethsemane was, where Jesus was detained and arrested, and where Judas betrayed Jesus. Um, and on the side of this garden, there is a church, and on the side of the church, and inside of the church, there is the rock where Jesus prayed, and he bleed his forehead, uh, coming. It was bleeding out of the strong prayer that he was doing. And I went into this church, and Chuck told me immediately, that's the rock, Oscar. And it was alone. All the times that I have been in Jerusalem, have gotten the opportunity and the blessing to all these places to be alone, and to all these places to have the blessing to just be for myself and pray for myself. That was the most important moment of my life, possibly going to the rock where Jesus prayed, and I kneeled down, I touched it, and when I put my forehead in this rock, it was burning. My forehead was burning. I was not allowed to be on that place. We're full with sin. You can feel it. Actually, the energy, you feel it as soon as uh as soon as you are entering into the church. You feel an energy like no other. It's just unbelievable, the energy. You start trembling of nervousness. I felt that. And it's sometimes, you feel that because it's the Holy Spirit, because you're not worthy to be there. And I understood that, but I was a little bit of not afraid. I was scared a little bit of to go over there and touch it, and to not have the to not be worthy to touch it, really. So, when you have that opportunity that a lot of people in life do not have it, I took advantage of it, and I prayed, and I asked for forgiveness for all the things that I have done. I To be honest with you guys, I have carried this backpack full with rocks. That is, when I have, my only the biggest mistake that I have made in my life, that I was stopped in the limitations back in 2008, intending to traffic synthetic uh, substances into the United States. And I was detained, and I was taken to federal prison. And I was intending to cross it, detained, stopped. Did 4 years in the federal system, then got deported back to Mexico through the part of Matamoros on 2012. Never had a speeding ticket, never run a stoplight in the United States, never committed a crime in Mexico. It was just a stupid, bold mistake. Got brainwashed by stupid people, and they brainwashed me to do this. Uh, did my 4 years in the federal system. And in the 4 years that I was in there, every day I was praying consistently for me to, to all these bad people, leave me alone. For all the bad people and to have good people along my side. In the 4 years that I was doing that, bid. I got out of the federal prison. I went back to, I did, you know, went back to college. I left my college years halfway. Never took the initiation to continue my college when I was 20. I left my communications career halfway. I said, like, I want to go and work. I don't want to, I think that I'm going to take a rest. I'm not doing as well as I wanted to, and never took it back. So when I came out, I went back to broadcasting school, graduated from that. Also did a couple of, diplomas on environmental assessments, graduated from that. Also took language classes, learned a little bit about that, and went back to college and finished my degree on communications. And started working for some radio stations, 2012, 2013. Uh, Started doing boxing broadcasting, calling fights. Got back into boxing, became a professional boxer. practiced boxing when I was since I was 8, 9, 10 years of age. So I went back to boxing. I always had this agreement with God to say, you know what, use me as a tool. Use me, whatever you want me to be do, whatever you want me to be done. Use me as a tool. So went back to boxing and I started doing these fights to help people with cancer. And all of the fights that I fought on a professional level, all of the winnings I gave it to people with cancer. I gave all my winnings to a person that had breast cancer. God rest her soul. You know, she died later on. And also, I did another fight, giving all my money to these children with cancer. You know, all these children with cancer. And so I did a couple of fights more. You know, helping people that they needed heart transplant and stuff like that, and giving all my money away. Doing the boxing, broadcasting, and all that. You know, one day the radio station told me, "Hey, Oscar, there's some caravans coming in into Tijuana of Haitians, thousands of them." It was in 2015, and they told me to go and do a report on them. We're 15,000 of them, and went over there, and on a phone call we did a report. This was back in 2015. I did a report on this migrant influx. Didn't work entirely on communications that time. You know, I was just working part time at the radio station and had a full time job as a general manager for the government of Baja California for the environmental assessments. Then later on, you know, they told me again, hey, you know what? Uh, then later on, they told me, hey, you know what? You want to work full time at the radio station? I said, yes, absolutely. Full time at the radio station. You know, I had my program. It's called Tijuana Fight Club. Used to broadcast from Monday to Friday. Used to have professional boxers and all this interviews and all this kind of stuff. And one day again, you know, the guy that covered the social events in the city, um, basically didn't come to work. And he said, Oscar, there's caravans from Honduras arriving in 2017, 2018. We need you to go to do a report. And I said, I don't want to. That's not my thing. I don't do those kind of coverages. Why you're sending me? And they told me, no, you know what? It's not a thing that we're not asking you. We're telling you to go. So I started going. And I started doing lives and sending my report on a radio, you know, I'm here, la la la, this is what's happening. And all of it started when I started seeing some progressive mercenary activist liberals attacking me out of nowhere because I was Mexican and I was not supporting what they were doing. Suddenly, what's going on? Why these people have the right to attack me, that I'm a Tijuana citizen, I'm a Mexican? And the most shameful thing is there were some journalists from Tijuana defending these gringos, you know? So that was like, what's going on? I didn't know about left, right, all these politics. I was just doing my job. Then later on, you know, uh, people started coming to Tijuana, asking me if I can help them with, you know, taking them to shelters and showing them the wall. Later on, Ben Berquam came along, started, you know, doing some collaborative work of things that were happening in shelters and along the border. I remember back in the day when I used to have the freedom to do so. Now I can. You will get shot and killed. I used to walk for hours at the border wall. Used to go on top of the mountains and show how they were building it, show how they were putting cement and concrete, and even talk to the workers on the other side and broadcast all of that. Used to walk for hours. I used to go up in mountains and show up in the mountains where there was an open border gap and where it was not built and show this kind of stuff. Nobody was doing that. I was doing it. And one thing led to another and started working for Real America's Voice News. Other networks came to me and they asked me if I wanted to work with them, but their agenda, it didn't fit my narrative. You know, it didn't fit who I am. You know, it didn't fit, you know, who I intend to be. I'm not for open borders. I am not against God. I am not in favor of, you know, people jumping walls and risking their lives in the back of a tractor trailer or walking through jungles or walking through seas and swimming through seas and almost dying. I'm not in favor of that. It's not going to pander to that. As a matter of fact, we're sick and tired of that. We want this to change. And it's unbelievable that now things that they have changed so drastically. One thing led to another, and we have done coverage like no other. I have walked 12 caravans. I have documented Central and South America like no other. I've gone documented the migration in Europe, gone to 3 wars, documented in Ukraine, 2 times in Israel. Uh, Everything has been with the blessing of God. We have walked the Darien Gap 4 times, being the only Mexican journalist who has ever done it in history, and also the only Latino journalist. There's other ones that they have walked it 3 times. Um, and this is just my life completely changed. I adapted to my career that I wanted to be a communications journalist of sports when I was young. I was really good with narrating boxing fights. I was really good, but it drifted to this. And then later on, I got attacked by a progressive mercenary activist, writer, liberal, Hispanic. That is the most shameful thing. Trying to denigrate my life with my past and bringing my past and dragging Steve Bannon into it and saying, "Oh, look at this deported trafficker. He's aligned with the Republicans and Steve Bannon and using my past." And then she made a public statement on the Democracy Now, the Daily Beast, MSNBC, saying that I was a CIA informant. And that was a trigger to my life. Immediately contacted a few family members that they work in law enforcement right here, and they told me immediately, "Oscar, you need to just stay low for a little bit, because if this article is all over the place." Even journalists, local journalists from here, they were like, "This is disgusting." They really went at you. And I have the conversation with this progressive liberal journalist. I said, "If you're going to talk about my past, be kind, really, because I have never disrespected you and never disrespected nobody." And she was not kind at all. She really wanted to get me killed. And that is a statement that, we are preparing later on in life. I will find a way, and my family will find a way to put a lawsuit against this lady for defamation, because what she said, it was just completely putting my life at risk and wanted to get me killed. So I had to hide in my own city, had to move from the west to the east, had to move my son from school uh, to two schools. I had to move him around for security reasons. The network told me, "Hey, Oscar, you need to just, be on the down low for a little bit. Stop working for 3 months for the network. Got to go back, work as a general manager in communications department in the Japanese company that makes motors." Network told me to come back. Started coming back, and it was all hell. It was all wheels on, man. From there, we said, I talked to my brother Ben, and I said, "I'm not stopping, man. I'm giving these people hell. They wanted to get me killed, man." And he said, "Yep, they wanted to get you killed." I said, "I'm not stopping, brother. With the blood of Christ and with God in front of us, we are going to expose every single one of them." And that is what we have done. We have in this year, we haven't stopped. We gave it our all to fight the Marxist, communist, socialist, progressive, mercenary, activist liberals and the NGOs, that they are full with evil. They're just profiting out of this human misery. And right now, I think that my dream is to be a public speaker in the federal state prisons, to tell all these people that they have a possibility in life to change, into first and foremost to believe in God, first and foremost to have faith, and second of all that you can turn your life around and you can be a great individual in society and adapt to society and adapt to whatever community or state or city that you want to live in. Change minds, change lives. Why they want to attack a Mexican citizen like me? Why they are so afraid of when I speak and I open my mouth? Why they want to use my past to attack me? Because there's the only tool that they have. And instead, I want to use my past and my mistake to make people better, to have and to help the youth, not only of Mexico, but of America, to teach them that don't make this mistake. Don't listen to bad people, and you can be a great individual and great person in society. You can be a great asset to the world if you follow God first and foremost. I'm not a persinado. I'm not a full on Christian, but I believe in God, and believing in Him and in the Virgen Maria de Guadalupe and Virgencita Santa has given me the opportunity to open my eyes and to live, have the opportunity for a job, and finish my career. And now you see me in the middle of a jungle helping children, carrying children. A lot of people criticize me for that because of that. Said, Oscar, why are you helping the invasion? They were saying. I'm not helping no invasion. There's a child unattended by an irresponsible father who dragged them into this jungle that is about to die. Jesus cure the, the sick, help the poor with no responsibility whatsoever. And he was a carpenter, and nobody believed in him. I'm just a journalist inside of a jungle trying to help a child to not be drowning and for his hell to not be hell as much. And people were actually criticizing that. You're just recording yourself because you want to suck on the money out of this human misery. No. You're the one that is making money out of this human misery. You're the one that is making money out of the humanitarian crisis. You're the one that is making money out of our people. All of these NGOs, you're the one that are making money out of our people. And you have the decency and the audacity to criticize a person that has renewed himself out of a mistake that you have never been through hell like we have been through. This is why I understand the catastrophes and the crisis of our people. This is why I understand what they go through. This is why when you get returned back or deported, I understand your feeling. And we need to change those hearts, and we need to change those lives of those people that they were deported because they committed a crime. Come here. You can renew yourself, man. You can rebuild yourself. You can rebuild your heart. You can rebuild your life. You can do it. Absolutely, you can. Don't say it's done. I'm done. No. You're not done. You're just getting started. You just learn a class. You just learn the best actual living class of how to deal with your horrible nightmares and how to overcome them. Now it is the time to grow. So I want to thank everybody for this year, for my audience, everybody that I collaborated and worked with. Especially the last trip that we did, it was exhausting. It's never been done. We went to the city of Mexico with my brother Ben Berquam, and from there we drove on the car. Well, he drove on the car. I didn't drive in the car. He drove in the car all the way to the north. And from there we visited every border on the Mexican side. Do you know how dangerous it is to do it on the Mexican side? It's not nice. It is extremely sketchy all the time. It is not sketchy in the morning. It is sketchy in the evening. It's sketchy at night. It's sketchy 24 hours every time. So, Mr. Rob Sig, thank you so much. Mr. Rob Shorts, God bless you. This year, thank you so much. Todd Bensman, Center of Immigration Studies Fellow, thank you so much. Auden Cabello, my brother, Mexican paisano, gracias. Ben Berquan, my brother, thank you so much. Manager, Sofia, God bless you. Muchas gracias por todo, por aguantarme. Hopefully this year will be a better year for us. Possibly get an opportunity to go back home. We never know. All the people in Real America's Voice News, thank you so much for the opportunity to give me the opportunity to speak. And when you are in the platform and they are listening to you, is because they're trusting you that you have the ability to speak. To the border agents of Panama, all of them, they're heroic agents of Panama. I learned so much from them on this 2023, 2024. My God, I learned from them. They're the most prepared and more experienced agents in the world. I don't have no doubt that they have the capabilities and capacities to be the best agents in the world. Let these 2025 be as blessings to every single one of you. Let this 2025 be as abundant for abundance Uh, we ask for work, but work that it will give you abundance. You know, let's this 2025 to be healthy, for everybody to be healthy, and for everybody to basically to grow more as individuals spiritually. Let this 2025 to forgive and forget, uh, to all those grudges that you hold against. Forgive and forget. Love each other. Take care of each other. Support each other. This is what 2025 it is about. It is a time for change. It is a time for unity. It is a time for us to come together and to let alone all the bad experiences and bad situations that you guys went through. It is a time for unity and to move forward as a humanity and to bring God back again to our lives. Um, so I would really say thank you, to every single one of you. And I just want to say to my mom, thank you, mom. Sometimes you watch my videos. Sometimes you say, no, son, you're boring sometimes. To my mom, we did it again. So I hope that I made you proud, mom. Uh, you're my motivation. You're my motor. There's nobody in this world that is most beautiful than you. I can see heaven. One day I will see heaven, and heaven will not be beautiful because you are not possibly there or you are going to be there. And if you're there, heaven is beautiful. So, to my mom, I love you. Thank you for the support you did this year. My son, he wants to be a journalist. He's crazy. My son, he tells me all the time, I want to go to the Darien, Dad. And I'm like, no, you're absolutely nuts. You don't know what you're talking about. Says, I want to go to the war. I want to be like Chuck. I'm like, no, you don't want that. You're Chuck is a good looking guy, man. We're not as good looking as Chuck. uh, but to my son, he's the motivation of everything, man. My son is the most beautiful thing that I ever created in this life. He's a beautiful creature. And and the most amazing thing is that he tells you with all his guts, I want to be a journalist, Dad. That's what I want to be when I grow up. He grabs his camera, his GoPro, and he puts a backpack and he puts a hat like the ones that I carry in the Darien, and he walks in the backyard. And he simulates what I'm doing. He simulates. He goes and he says, I'm here in the backyard. I just saw a tiger. I'm going to fight it. Like, what the? You're fighting a tiger. Come on, man. Slow down over there. To my son, he's an incredible young kid, 9 years of age. I ask him a lot of stuff, about this gender inclusivity, and the response that he makes is just unbelievable. I tell him about, what do you think about these people that they identify as a woman and they're a man, or they're a woman and they want to be a man, or they're a man and they want to be a woman. And it says, oh, I don't think that's good, he says. He has said it multiple times in Spanish. I don't think that's good. And I say, why it's not good? Uh, and he says, well, because God made only two genders. You were born as a man and you were born as a woman. That's about it. I didn't teach him that. He learned it from possibly me sometimes screaming here outside or inside of the room where I used to have my little studio. you know, uh, Sometimes he listens. He stays in the door and he listens. You guys never know, but sometimes he's sitting down right here next to me, or he's sitting in the room where I'm doing it live, and he's just listening. That's how he learns Spanish and he learns more English, and he learns the topics. We need to teach our children and we need to teach our youth of what is really going on. If he grows up with my ideologies and then later on he changes his perspective, I will respect him because it's freedom of speech. You know, it's freedom of thought. It's freedom of everything. So that's one of the most beautiful things that God gave us. He gave us the freedom to choose. And he's the only one that he can give us that gift, and he's the only one that he can take away that gift, because he chooses when we are going to die, and he chooses when we are going to live. So he's the one that he's the alpha and the omega on the thoughts that he gave you the opportunity to choose. So it has been a good year. I think that the pinnacle of this year was that Joe Biden didn't win the election. Kamala Harris didn't win the election. I think that I was really nervous about that. I will say why I was nervous, because I was nervous because if Kamala Harris would have won, I know that this problem was going to continue and it was going to get really bad. So that means that I was going to go again back to the Darien and get in there 4 to 5 times. And all the times that I have been inside of the Darien, I have gotten sick of malaria, dengue, and it hasn't been good. So I said, God, please, I was praying the whole time, let this problem finish. Let's do something about it. Let's close that gap, because it's not a good place for people to die, and to migrate and to walk. It's horrible. And I was praying so much for that, man, because I know what the consequences of going over there. You see, you guys don't know, but every time that Ben and I talk, it's like, hey, so you ready to go? And we're like, oh man, give me 1 more month. I'm not psychologically there still. It's like, we need to go. Well, suck it up. Let's go. And again, we go over there, carry our hammocks, carry our backpacks, 20, 25 kilos, walk through that treacherous jungle and document, see decomposed bodies, people drowning, people dying, people getting assaulted and raped. And again, the mentality to be strong, and as I have said multiple times before, our body, I understood. Now, documenting this, I understood that my body was made to take the pain, receive the pain, and then release the pain. Sometimes releasing it is really difficult, because all those memories, they stay in your mind. They never go away. But it's part of our jobs. It's part of our what we do, and it's part of what we have been doing. So, you know, uh, uh, it's been a good year. I thank God, for this year. 31st of January, it is almost 12 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock in the evening. Thank God for this year. And, uh, it's important that, you know, uh, that we thank every single minute that we are breathing. That's the number one thing. And has been a good year. Although in the last moments I got sick a little bit, got a little heart thing going on, but I pray to God that everything will be okay. I'm taking a few exams, and I hope that everything goes well. You know, uh, People are saying, where can we donate? I didn't put the coffee app. I forgot, but if you want to go to my coffee app, it is Buy Me a Coffee, and you can donate right there. Thank you so much. There's a question. I will answer your questions. Now we're in 3 minutes. I will answer your questions. So go ahead. Nancy Drew says, Oscar, how you doing? Let me just drink a coffee. Excuse me. Uh, Oscar, what do you say to people? They're spiritual, but don't believe in Jesus or in organized religion. Hard to talk to someone like that and make them see correctness of fate. Um, you don't have to speak to them. You don't have to talk to them. You just show them the power of Jesus. That's about it. Don't drag the religion through their throat. I followed Catholicism all my life because it is a thing that has been implemented in my life. But I'm not a guy that goes every Sunday to church. I'm not that guy. When I was in prison, I understood my relationship. I came more close with God when I was in prison. Every day I used to talk to him like a friend. And I didn't need no pastor, no priest, no church. What I needed was for me to repent and to be humble, to talk to him about it, and to actually not ask anything, just to talk to him. He knows what you're thinking. He knows what you're feeling. He knows what you are going to do and where you're going to fail. He knows that. So when you are talking to him, you're always asking, why don't you just talk to him? And that's about it. And I used to do that every day. I used to be like, hey, man, I'm here. I'm about to go to a soccer game right here in these walls. What do you think? I should score a goal or not? What do you think? Wish me well. And that's the way that you will find him. Then later on, he will provide. I saw a video of a priest talking about, a guy that came and over and said, show me that Jesus is real. And he said, well, you wanted happiness and I give you sadness. So you will look for happiness. You wanted everything easy. So I gave you challenges. So you will understand when you win over the obstacles and you win over the challenges, how easy it is and how difficult it was for you to not make that mistake again. You wanted love, and I'll push you through the limit of sometimes losing people that you love. So you will appreciate what love really is and value what love really is. You wanted health, and sometimes you had to go through these sicknesses and you see other people. I gave you tasks to help other people that they're sick. So when you see and you're helping them, you're actually analyzing yourself to saying, you know what, I should take care of myself. I should value my body. I should take care of myself. I should be healthy. So it is not a thing that you have to say to them. Jesus did not tell people this is, follow the church or this, and that. Jesus was telling follow the way. And that's about it. And he's the most beautiful man that ever walked this planet, the most perfect man that ever walked this planet. And he was a carpenter. So you don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to be the richest man in the world to understand what love and God and Jesus is about. It's just as simple as that. You need to learn to talk to him. And that's about it. So, hope that I answer your question. God bless you guys. Another question. Whatever you guys want to ask before I go, we're going in an hour and 7 minutes. I think I need to address a phone call that it was over here, but it's the 31st of January. We are hours away from yelling Happy New Year's. And I think that has been an incredible year. So I don't know what's the deal, what you guys are doing. If you guys want to ask me a question, go ahead before I go. Is it cold over here? It's a little bit chilly, but it's not a it's not a it's not as cold as it is. Texas says, just as Jesus experienced when I open doors for people and say, God is directing me, everyone scoff. Well, it's you don't have to rely on what people say. That's the problem, my brother. Don't rely on what people say. It is your personal relationship with him. That's it. Don't care about what people say. That's about it. It is your personal relationship with him. You don't have to explain to nobody what kind of personal relationship you have with them. The people will see the change and the people will see the way. The people will say, you know what, ya cambió. What happened to you, man? You changed. What happened? No, I started following and having a personal relationship with God. I'm like, oh my God, you're doing good, man. Did you have to show him the Bible? Do you have to tell him, hey, you know what? I'll see you at 9 at service at Sunday? No, you didn't. You just show them the way. And that's about it. You don't have to give no explanation to nobody. It is your personal relationship with him. That it is about it. That's the only thing that you had to do. God bless you guys. Muchas gracias. Eso. How you doing? to X, Hernando Arce. ¿Cómo estás, mi amigo? Saludos. Say hello to you, brother. God bless you. Hope that I will shake your hand one day. God bless you, my brother. Have a happy new year to you and to all of your family, and continue to do God's work as we need more to do God's work, my brother. So God bless you and stay safe. Karen Bond questions, political questions. Is the DOJ, Department of Justice of Mexico, woke as some areas in America? I worry about those murders getting away. Yes, they are woke in some areas, but when it comes to this, it is too much. The press is already all over the place, so they're not going to be let go. They are going to be prosecuted and sentenced. Will you interview Republican Representative Rashida Tlaib again? She did not want to talk to me the last time that I trying to talk to her, and other than that, there was a, you know, liberal standing in the way and telling me, like, standing in my camera, like liberals do. You know, they were weasels, man. They're just like, I will stand in your camera and I will not let you record. Like, oh my god, it's just. But I don't think that she will handle a conversation. I don't think that she can handle a real conversation about real facts and real actual evidence. They only have a conversation due to their progressive liberal narrative. If you get out of the progressive liberal narrative, they will say, no, you're absolutely wrong. It's this way, or it's and they called people like us imperialists, when they're the imperialists, they're the one that they act like this. So God bless you guys. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Another year. I will see you guys all the way to the 2nd of January. We already have plans to go to a particular place. We already have plans to start working immediately as this is about to start, and it's going to get really good. The mass deportations, it's a reality, and it is going to start. It's a cruel reality, and that people don't believe that, but it is a reality. Mass deportations are going to happen, whether you like it or not. They are going to happen. So a lot of people don't believe it. A lot of people say, like, no, it's not. They're not going to happen. We're going to put lawsuits and they're going to stop. No. No chingados iba a pasar. No, it's actually going to happen. Much love to everybody. Thank you so much. Miss Justin Aker, thank you so much, ma'am. God bless you. Have a happy new year. God bless your dear heart. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Happy New Year to everybody. Hug each other, love each other, celebrate each other, and have hope for each other and faith in God. Stay safe, and like we always say, people, God's plan, it is our mission.